This is Floyd Dyce, and you're watching D&B TV.
Change your heart. Look around you. Change your heart.
For me, music has always sort of been a big backdrop to my life, and especially through school, when I'd say that's more the time when I actually started making it or thinking about making music, you know, and then them times it'd be, you know, into bands like Earth, Wind and Fire, you know, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, you know, Marvin Gaye.
Everybody's gotta learn sometime.
I probably made a record, I think, when I was about 12 or something like that. You know, so like from a really early age, we were kind of like little stars, I suppose, in school, because whilst everyone else was doing, you know, the normal stuff you do at school, I mean, some of our friends, we were out, you know, in studios or trying to get studio time, you know, sitting in a back room, playing instruments and stuff and trying to, you know, emulate, you know, some of the stuff we were listening to.
Make some noise for the house
It was more a case of sort of falling into the scene, really, because I mean, you had like the first sort of early house, acid, you know, all that kind of stuff started to come in. So that was the stuff we were like listening to, going out and clubbing to, and that, coming back and experimenting with stuff like that, you know, and making it. But then it's also trying to make stuff like that with your own twist. I'd say that really for us the sound kind of kicked in, I'd say, from like early 90s. That's when I think we thought, yeah, we've got something kind of going here sound-wise. You know, from early Brothers Grimm stuff, you know, going on from there to like House Crew stuff, you know, developing to like the Baby D thing as well. Working with each name, each act and that, you kind of developed an identity for each one, you know, and each name sort of almost had its own kind of unique sound as well. And that was kind of exciting for us as well, you know, because it wasn't just a case of going in and thinking, well, we're going to make this sound, we're going to stick to it. It was a case of making lots of different sounds, you know, and it kind of made things much more exciting that way. When I produced Let Me Be a Fantasy, it wasn't really thinking to myself, well, this is going to be the biggest tune now. Do you know what I mean? It was because at the time it was more of a vibe thing. You know, it was more a thing of, you know, just going out there, making a good track for like the underground, something that you could play on the weekend, you know, whilst you're at raving, basically. Once it was sort of launched, it kind of just took its own legs and went on from there, really. Let Me Be a Fantasy was kind of like a big hit on the underground, smashing up a lot of clubs around that sort of time. And in a lot of ways, that was really the kind of biggest buzz, I think, as far as the track was concerned. You know, hitting it big on the underground then. But then a couple of years later, London Records picked it up, re-released it nationally, and you know, we had a national #1 with it as well. Most personal, most significant to me, I'd actually say was Daydreaming. That was another Baby D track. That track to me was almost like a turning point because it was one of the first tracks within that kind of vibe, and you know, I think I was on the verge of, you know, giving up music. I think at that stage as well. So it kind of meant a lot to me, and you know, from then, you know, it kind of grew and went on to all the other big tunes, you know, that we had on Production House at the time.
Come take a trip to my wonderland.
from getting my catalogue back from production house, basically all that stuff needed to be housed somewhere, really, and that kind of started the development of like Little Dragon Music and Little Dragon Recordings. Since holding all that stuff, we've planned to, you know, rejuvenate or re-release all that stuff again and bring it out to basically a new audience, you know, because I mean all that stuff wasn't available digitally. You know, you couldn't actually get all that stuff anymore. I think the only way you could actually get that stuff is either illegally downloading it somewhere or listening to it on YouTube. Music is quite a sort of funny phenomenon, really, you know, because things that you've made like years and years ago, you kind of think, well, you've made it for that time, but what's kind of been proven, especially with all the stuff we made on Production House around that time, it's still around. This has been Floyd Dyce chatting about my music on D&B TV. So don't forget, the back catalogue will be available on Drum and Bass Arena download store.